Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Tianeptine and a big concern with it in the United States. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody, I'm not a doctor, not a chemist, not certified or anything in any sort of way. I don't have a degree in anything pharmacological or anything like that, so just want to be clear about that because I don't want people to think I'm speaking from a place of authority. But yeah, just wanted to make that clear. So, Tianeptine is something that's starting to concern me. They're referring to it in the news as gas station heroin. So, Tianeptine is actually an approved drug in other countries, not the United States, for the treatment of depression. Now, in smaller dosages, it appears to not be super active on the opioid receptor. And it does activate it a little bit, but they seem to think that's how a lot of the antidepressant effects work. I don't know. A lot of the stuff about Tianeptine isn't from the United States. It hasn't reached the FDA's signing of generally recognized as safe, which is required for medication in the United States. But the reason it's here is because it's being sold as a supplement. So a lot of people do complain about the fact that stuff like kratom isn't regulated, but at least kratom has some sort of natural component. I mean, to say kratom is completely safe in all factors would be irresponsible. But Tianeptine seems to be very unsafe. So Tianeptine in higher dosages causes really strong euphoria and essentially just feelings that you would with an opioid. For whatever reason, it was never intended to hit the opioid receptor. It was never meant to be an opioid, but it does. And the dosages that it's being sold at gas stations and such, which is why it's being called gas station heroin, is because it is very high, so it makes it that you get a high. You become euphoric. The active life, to my understanding of Tianeptine, is about 3 hours, or no, its half-life is about 3 hours. Which people equate to its active life. Not entirely sure if that's accurate. Again, there's not a whole lot of study on Tianeptine in the United States. So the concern with Tianeptine is that it's addictive. I mean, there's just not really any way around it, from what I understand, because unlike kratom where there's a ceiling, if you try to get past that ceiling, you throw up all the time. That's how kratom works. Which is a very weird and unique thing about kratom, which is why I don't find it as dangerous, and it also doesn't have respiratory depressive effects. Tianeptine is different. It's synthetic, first of all. It's one specific chemical compound. They're putting way too much of it into these pills, and people are getting addicted. I mean, quite literally. Some people, to my understanding, are turning to actual opioids after trying Tianeptine, because they are not getting the opioid hit because the Tianeptine isn't strong enough. The other problem is apparently people are taking it every 3 hours because the high wears off so quickly, and then it quickly becomes, without it, you don't feel yourself and you don't feel normal. I haven't seen any at my local gas stations. Granted, I haven't really been looking for it, and I don't think any reputable, chain gas stations would have it necessarily, but I don't know. It is a concern, especially because I imagine a lot of people are going to look at Tianeptine and kratom in the same category, even though I personally see them as completely different, because one is a synthetic compound that does not have a ceiling and has a high propensity for addiction. Kratom, I would say, has a propensity for addiction. In my personal experience, I'm not even on kratom. I've gone on and off. For me, it doesn't even matter. Now that doesn't mean that that's everyone's experience, and so I I'm trying to be more cautious about that going forward because I used to be kind of haphazard when I would talk about kratom. But in terms of like regulation, I think the FDA really needs to step in and ban tianeptine, or at least make it so that it can't be sold as a dietary supplement and it has to be sold by a drug company, because they're trying to sell the synthetic compound as a dietary supplement, which is, I mean, most things on the supplement market are like some sort of workaround like that, so I can't complain too much because it's not really it's kind of the market itself's fault, not so much the distributor. But I do think whoever is selling this might be a little malicious because it does have a propensity for addiction, it seems. Now, it doesn't seem to be as detrimental as like a straight opioid, but it seems to be kind of just like sliding you right in. You know, the old adage of, well, I had a back surgery and so I was given opioids and then all of a sudden I couldn't live without the opioids type deal. A lot of people apparently are having that same issue of tianeptine. I learned about this really recently, so a lot of my information on it is vague. There's a bunch of different supplement names for it. There you can easily look up tianeptine online and try and figure out, you know, what to avoid. My other concern is that somebody might sell something as kratom, but it's actually tianeptine. That's something that I'm scared about because there have been cases in the past where kratom was laced with actual opioids, which is horrifying to think about because people often go to kratom so that they are at least trying to be proactive and get off of opioids, and then they're given an actual pharmaceutical grade opioid that doesn't have a ceiling and won't make you sick. That's one of the reasons I think kratom is actually not as bad, is because when you go, for most people, above, I want to say 12 grams, you just vomit and you start shaking, and there's not really much you can do about it. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of problems with kratom as well because it has a bunch of drug interactions and that sort of thing. So I'm not trying to say there are no problems with kratom. I'm just saying that comparatively, I think tianeptine is like I would love for kratom to be regulated, being brought into the United States, or its distribution be regulated like marijuana or alcohol. But with tianeptine, it's in the supplement market as well, and it seems to be pretty darn dangerous. So keep your eyes out. Maybe look up what a supplement is before you take it. What I mean by that is like if you're taking something like a kratom brand that you're not familiar with, it might be wise to steer clear. But for the most part, it sounds like they're not even hiding that it's tianeptine. So like one of the ones that keeps coming up, which is a bizarre name, is Zaza God. Don't know why that's the name. But that's tianeptine. And so like if I saw that, I would assume it's weed or something. I would not assume it's a drug that imitates an opioid, as like a synthetic compound that imitates an opiate. So I don't really know why they have such weird names, but apparently it's becoming a problem. I'm hoping that just like the weird bath salt situation in Florida, it gets resolved soon. States have been banning it. My state is not banned it, and so I'm hoping that states will continue to ban it, or the FDA will step in and cut it off, because this is concerning, because this is just kind of adding to the opioid crisis rather than actually helping. And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. If you guys have any more information on tianeptine, if you think I'm mistaken, if there's more information that people have on it, I would love to hear it. I could be wrong on a lot of this. It's really new to me. I just found out about it, like I said, a day ago. And then one of the oldest articles I could find about it was like February. It seems to be happening pretty rapidly in the United States. But yeah, it seems to be supplement companies taking advantage of the lack of regulation in the United States yet again. Not that I'm super pro regulation, but it's just one of those things where it's dangerous. You can't have a synthetic opioid or something that acts as a synthetic opiate just out on the supplement market. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, leave a comment. If you want to watch random pharmacology and lifestyle or like health and fitness style videos like this, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell if you want to get more stuff, and always just check out another video of mine. I have a lot of content on this channel, from everything from steroids to opioids to ADHD medication and lifestyle factors that can help you to be healthier and everything in between. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one.